Hi everyone, welcome back to Risa Does Makeup. Today I am stepping out of my comfort zone and showing you a highly requested, colorful makeup look. I am so excited to tell you that this video is sponsored by Pat McGrath. So many of you have wanted me to try out the new Pat McGrath foundation system, the foundation, the primer, the powder, and I really wanted to, but I was concerned because I had heard that it was quite a sheer foundation. And you guys know me, or most of you who've been with my channel for a while, you guys know that I am a full coverage kind of girl. So trying something more sheer to medium coverage versus medium to full is really out of my comfort zone. So when they approached me about doing a video showing the new foundation system, I thought, wow, what a wonderful opportunity for me to step out of my comfort zone, try a more sheer to medium coverage foundation, see what I think. And then I thought, why don't I take it a step further and turn it into an entire out of my comfort zone concept for a video. And that's what I did. So if you'd like to see how I achieved this look and hear my thoughts on the new Pat McGrath Sublime Perfection system, then please keep on watching. All right, so my skin is completely bare. I am starting with the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Primer. This was sent to me after the foundation and powder were, so I have not tried this. This is gonna be my first impression. It comes with a pump, and from what I've read, this is not a silicone-based primer. Typically for my oily, large pored skin, I do like a silicone primer, but this will be interesting to see if this will help to blur the pores, and it is. It really is. I mean, they're not gone, but they're improved. It has a nice texture. It sinks into the skin. I'm gonna be doing an update on all of these products for you. I always like to, give you updates on things that, I haven't tried for, at least a few weeks, so. There's a slight scent to it. It smells pretty good. Okay, moving on to foundation. I am using the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation in the shade Light Medium 13. This bottle is really beautiful. It's solid glass, it has a pump, it's very luxurious looking and feeling, in my opinion. So this is the shade Light Medium 13. It is going to be a little bit darker than my face because I did apply some self-tanner last night. So I'm going to put a little bit here, 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 and here. What I really like about this foundation is that it doesn't dry super quick, so you do have time to blend it out. And I also really like that it is buildable. So while one coat gives you that really, really sheer coverage, I can go in and use another coat for a little bit more coverage. So as you can see, one layer is quite sheer. Now, if I were going truly way out of my comfort zone, I would leave it like this. But for demonstration purposes and to inch a little bit closer to my comfort zone, I'm still outside of it, but you don't always have to go from one extreme to the other. So what I'm trying to say is I am going to show you what another layer looks like because I feel like I do need a little bit more coverage right here. And this foundation does build up nicely. It never starts to look cakey. So if you have really, really good skin and you just want something to even out any discoloration, any red tones, and just give you more of a polished look, then this is a winner in that regard. So hopefully you can see that this gives a very natural skin-like finish, even with the second coat over here. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Put a little bit more in this area and around my nose and chin. So now that my foundation is completed and I think it's looking pretty good, I normally would move on to concealer, but because I am using color on my eyes, an extreme color, I want to do those first and then not have to redo my concealer because there's a good chance that there could be some fallout under the eyes. So I don't want to have to apply concealer twice. So I'm going to save that for after. For now, I'm going to set my face using the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Setting Powder in the shade Light Medium 2. This product is everything you want a setting powder to be. It just sort of takes down any excess shine. It's gonna help your makeup stay on longer throughout the day. It gives a nice, soft, airbrushed look, and it doesn't have any fragrance to it, which is nice. I think it looks pretty darn good. Now I'm going to contour just a little bit. For that, I'm using my Smashbox Cali contour palette. All right, contour is done. I've also gone and filled in my eyebrows to save some time here. And now we are going to jump into the fun part, color on the eyes. To begin, I am using some eyeshadow primer, not only because, as you can see, my eyelids are super oily, but I also find that eyeshadow primers help the color to go on even more vibrantly. And for that, I am using the Stay Don't Stray eyeshadow primer from Benefit. And as always, every product will be linked in the description box for your convenience. So I'm just patting that onto the lid. I also really like how this particular primer really helps to neutralize the skin on the lid, the skin discoloration on the lid, I should say. Being given the opportunity to show you the Pat McGrath foundation system inspired me to want to try more Pat McGrath products. In my collection before, prior to doing this video, I only had this eyeshadow palette, which is the Bronze Seduction, I think it's actually called. One lipstick and a couple of glosses. So I went to Sephora and I bought a few more things. And one of the things that stood out to me on the display was this single eyeshadow in the color Lapis Luxury. I mean, how gorgeous is this? So that is what's going to go all over my eyes. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a tissue and I'm just folding it and placing it right underneath my eye, sort of on an angle. And then I am going to take a flat shader brush. Actually, I need to do this first. Load up my brush first using the eyeshadow. Load up my brush, tap off any excess. Oh, there really isn't any excess. Take the tissue, hold it right here, and place it right on my lid. Place the shadow on my lid. Whoa, look at that pigment. And the trick to using color on the eyes is to, number one, not be intimidated. And number two, don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. All I'm gonna do is just place this one color all over the lid and make sure it's really saturated. Having a formula this pigmented really, really helps. So I'm not gonna go and blend into the crease using this brush. I am going to take a different blender brush, something fluffy, like this one, and see, I've already gotten some fallout right here. See, that's why I didn't do my concealer. And I'm gonna take that brush and blend it out. Now this brush has nothing on it. It's just blending out the top part of that turquoise color. So it's kind of diffusing it. So it's going from darker to lighter. So I'm doing the same thing on the other side, loading up my brush, placing my tissue on an angle. I seriously cannot get over how pigmented this shadow is. It's crazy. And look how fast I'm doing this. It's taking no time at all. Now, I do want to have a little bit of a transition shade going through this area right here. I know this looks a little bit red right now. It might not on camera, but I plucked a few hairs there, a few strays. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to take a smaller fluffy crease brush. This one was bigger. I'm gonna go in with something a little bit smaller. And then using that other Pat McGrath palette that I have, I'm going into this brown shade right here. And then looking straight into the mirror, because my eyes are hooded, it's really important to look straight into the mirror and go a little bit above where, if I had a more defined crease, where that would be. And I'm just sort of blending that brown shade on top. And I'm using a very, very light hand and very, very light strokes because I don't want it to overpower that beautiful color we have on the lid. Right now, using just a small flat shader brush, I am going to take a little bit of my concealer and use this not only as a way to clean up the brow, but to add a little lightness to this area. But I don't want shimmer up there because that would take it more into looking like costumey or stage makeup-y, and that's not what we want at all. So it just gave me a little bit of brightness in that area. Now, I am going to clean up. I got a lot of turquoise in here, so I want to get rid of that. And don't worry if you don't get all of the color from this inner portion right here, because we're actually going to put the color down there as well. I am going to use just a tiny angled brush, go back into our blue shade, turquoise, whatever you want to call it. And now I'm going to put that as close to my lash line as possible. And then I'm going to have it meet up. As you can see, I put that tissue a little bit too high because this area needs to be filled in. So in addition to that eyeshadow, I also picked up the Pat McGrath liquid liner. So we're gonna give this one a go. I'm not gonna do a wing or anything. I'm just going to place a thin line right at the base. Where the liner goes on really nice. So just like that, thin line, no wing. So I've gone ahead and curled my lashes, and now I am tight lining, just using this black eyeliner from Almay. And then I'm also putting a little bit in the lower inner rims. Right now I'm going to quickly apply some mascara. Okay, so that is it for the eyes for the moment. Now it's time to do the concealer finally. I am going to be using my Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Light Medium 18. As most of you know, I love to mix up my high-end and drugstore products. And this concealer is really, really good. And I want to make sure that I don't get rid of you know, the color we did on the lower lash lines. So I'm using my finger just to be very, very careful not to conceal all that work I've done under the eye. And it looks really good, I think. I'm just using a little bit more of that Pat McGrath powder just to kind of set the areas where I applied more concealer. Now, because the eyes are just so bold and I want them to be the focal point of this look, I'm gonna keep the rest of the face very subtle. So for my blush, I'm using this one from Jouer. It is the Blush Duo in Rose Gold. And I'm just dusting this lightly on my cheeks. And for my highlight, I'm using this trio that I purchased from Pat McGrath. I had it in my basket at Sephora, but then I put it back because I thought, I really don't need any more highlighters. But the reviews on this product were so amazing on Sephora.com. I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm gonna go into both, the one on the end and the one in the middle. No wonder this had such good reviews. It's glowy, but not over the top. It doesn't have like big glitter particles or anything. What do I think I want to do? I think I want to put a little bit of highlight right in here too, just to brighten this up a bit. It kind of has like this opalescent shift to it, which is really nice. And then to finish off this look, I wanted to do something just very sheer and natural looking. Again, keeping the focus on the eyes. So I picked up this Pat McGrath lip gloss in the shade Heavy Petal. I love Pat McGrath glosses. This is one item that I actually already owned several of. I have 3 of the more nude colors, and they're just it's such a lovely formula. So I'm gonna wipe off any foundation that I have on my lips. And I'm not using any lip liner. So that's out of my comfort zone too, because if you guys know me, I'm usually someone that wears lip liner, then lipstick, then gloss. It's very rare that I will just slick on one product like I'm gonna do right now. But I think this type of look really warrants. I just realized how awful my hair looks, but thankfully I think most of it's been cut off in this video. Ooh, okay. Anyway, back to the look. So I'm going to just slick this on. And it looks pretty bright and pigmented, which it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mush my lips together and use my finger to sheer it out. So it really does have more of a my lips but better look, except now they're shiny. Now you can leave it just like this. And again, if I were truly going to go far out of my comfort zone, I would leave it like this. But I really feel like I'm loving this look and I want to see it done the way I have the vision in my head. So I'm going to take these Christina wispy lashes that I get on eBay, and I'm just going to cut them really short. So they're only going to have like 4 clusters. I'm going to cut off the majority of this lash. So yeah, it's just going to be 4 clusters left. And I am going to pop these on the outer corners of my eye, just to give them more of an uplifted look. So now the corner lashes are on, and I did go ahead and apply a little mascara to the lower lashes as well. All right, so here's the completed out of my comfort zone look with sheer foundation, color on the eyes, no lip liner, and I have to say I am loving everything about this look. I would absolutely go out right now, if I had somewhere to go, wearing this. So I hope this inspired you as well to step out of your comfort zone. If you're like me and used to wearing full coverage all the time, why not try something with a little bit less coverage? You might like it, especially if you, like me, have been working on improving your skin. My skin is definitely still not perfect. It's a work in progress. Under these lights and with this unfiltered camera lens that picks up everything, you know, my skin is not perfect. It's far from perfect, but I feel like as it improves using these wonderful skincare products that I've been talking about on my channel, that I can get away with less coverage. And I have to say that it does look a lot more natural and youthful looking than most of my full coverage foundations. And color on the eye, you know, I'm over 40, I'm in my mid 40s solidly, and I don't feel like this looks overdone. I feel like, you know, it was simple to do. I just used one color on the lid underneath my eyes and then something soft to transition. And then what's easier than slicking on just a sheer gloss? So please let me know in the comments if this video has inspired you to step out of your comfort zone. And if it did, or even if you just enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. I do try to upload at least twice a week. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. My username is the same everywhere. It's Risa Does Makeup. I want to thank Pat McGrath once again for sponsoring this video. I'm just so happy and flattered to have been given this wonderful opportunity, and as you saw, it inspired me to try even more Pat McGrath products that I so far am quite impressed with. So thank you again to them, and thanks again to you, the viewers. I always appreciate you spending this time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.